this might be a tough decision right now. My team did absolutely
NFL games that were like,
Right.
whoa.
I actually don't
Had
understand.
a lot of mixed feelings.
Welcome, Disgruntled. We have another guest here on the Legal Domains.
Let's get it rolling. It's not recording. I wanted to record it.
I have shit to say. Josh has been in this seat too long.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? We at the first episode.
You guys talked about the fucking Olympics without me.
Well, I was trying to, and you were like, I'm too tired.
I was not tired. That was not my excuse. I had a sore throat, and talking for an hour like you usually have these podcasts run was just not feasible.
No, he was like, my throat hurts and I'm tired. What the fuck is this?
I had nothing. I did not say I was tired as an excuse. Maybe I was tired, but that wasn't something that would have stopped me from recording. It was the fact that my throat was sore.
And then, the first episode that we did together, we said that you died. Then the second episode...
I died?
And then the second episode, we came out that you were actually alive, but you were just in a coma.
Did you actually say this?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, we were like joking about it.
What'd you even have to say about the Olympics without me?
Well, it was only like 20 to 30 minutes of it, but most of it was about mental health because
Yeah.
Simone Biles, we transitioned from the Olympics
That
through Simone Biles into the thing.
that only scratches the surface of the issue, because this issue has come up even before the Olympics, like has been prevalent within like this year. Even before the Olympics, Simone Biles just made people more aware of it because she is Simone Biles, and the one time of every 4 years that anyone actually cares is when she's at the Olympics. No one cares when she's winning shit at other tournaments. It's like, oh, the Olympics, she better be competing, otherwise I will slaughter her. Like, they get so serious about it, but they don't care about her outside of the Olympics, you know?
Yeah.
And basically she built upon Naomi Osaka's points, because Naomi Osaka previously has been a huge advocate about mental health, even going as far as saying that she didn't want to do press and like media type responsibilities and obligations that usually when you're at a tournament they make you do, like it's in your contract. She said there were just some times where it was very hard for her, as someone who dealt with anxiety and other things, for her to always do that when she's also being put through the stress of competing. That sometimes it's just very hard to talk to media like that, and it's not her not liking reporters or journalists themselves, it's just the action and the reality of like what is going on. Like no matter how friendly a reporter is, sometimes it's not enough to ease someone who's going through those issues, and it's a very misunderstood topic. A lot of people were just like, oh, she just should just like take some time out of the sport and then come back and stop complaining. Or like people would see her on the cover of magazines and they'd be like, clearly like she's just making excuses because she's on the cover of magazine, you know. Yeah. It's a very misunderstood and nuanced topic that really picked up with Naomi Osaka, and then Simone Biles on the center stage basically made the rest of the world who weren't already on notice, they made it on notice. So I think it's a very interesting topic. I'm glad you guys talked about it. I just wanted to share my thoughts as well, because that is something I did want to talk about, or was excited to talk about if we were to talk about the Olympics, but was not able to.
I was very sad when you said that you were feeling under the weather. I was like, man, I didn't personally have that too much information on the Olympics itself. All the information that I did say was all in that episode, but it was only like 20 minutes worth, and I was kind of depending on you for the Olympics, because I knew that you were like watching it like crazy. Like, tell me, because I wanted to like document that too. Like, tell me like how you watch, or like your watching experience, because some of the mornings you're like waking up very early.
My plan was I would go to sleep. I originally really wanted to go to sleep at like 10, but I'm really bad at getting myself to go to sleep early, so it's usually around midnight, and then I'd wake up at like 4 a.m. 5 a.m. to watch some of like what would be prime time in Tokyo type games up until basically like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. is when like they would start to stop, but like certain events would really go late into the night in Tokyo, but here it'd be like basically getting close to noon. And so there was basically two ways you could have gone about it. Is like if you were avid about this event, like I was, you could either stay up really late through the night and go to sleep at like, let's say 6 a.m., miss the end of the night events, and then like sleep through the day and then wake up in the afternoon. Like we're talking about in the context of being on the Eastern time zone in America. Or you could go to sleep early, wake up in the middle of the night, and then still be able to go through the rest of your day. Because like I also had a summer class during the time, and I had meetings regularly for a type of social media job I was doing. So I didn't want to give up those things that I would have to do in the middle of the day in order to stay up through the night and watch the Olympics. So that was like my way of doing it. I would wake up early instead. I'd make some coffee. I had like easy things I could just take out of my fridge, or like granola bars that I would eat or snack on really early in the morning. One morning I ordered Dunkin' at the time it opened, which is like 6-7 o'clock. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was good times. Usually most of the medal events are at night anyways, because that's prime time in Tokyo. And a lot of people don't get to see that. They would get rebroadcasted later on, but those were always very confusing. I think NBC actually did a terrible job at advertising it and making Americans aware of like when was what. And some of it was kind of like misleading as to what was live and what was being rebroadcasted. I also think that if I were to like get in my head like, oh, I can just like watch this later, rebroadcast, I would just like read a headline and like, well, now I know. And then I would like convince myself not to watch it. But I really did want to watch it and not try to lose any of that sort of like motivation to do it. So I would watch it live instead of rebroadcasted as much as I could. So yeah, that's all I have to really say about that. Big fan of Naomi Osaka. The fact that she got eliminated really early. The fact that she got eliminated very early did not help her whole case against the media, because she took a lot of time off out of tournaments and said, I will definitely represent my country when the Olympics roll around, because that it will be taking place in my country, Japan. She got to light the gauntlet. That was crazy. Only one athlete every 4 years gets to do that. So that's like the biggest, rarest honor anyone could get bestowed upon them in the world of athletics, and she got it. So she said it was a highlight of her career, but then at the same Olympics, she didn't do great.
Yeah.
As far as the actual sporting event went, and people were starting to say like, oh, clearly her time off didn't pay her any like, reward, maybe she was overreacting, or like, oh, she's super overhyped. Like, it was terrible. People are terrible towards people who deal with mental issues, but also towards women. It's a very sexist issue as well. Not to say that like it's less, not to say it's better dealt with amongst men. I think it's worse. In fact, like, men definitely don't approach it the right way. For example, when Dak Prescott said he was depressed when his brother committed suicide, and then fucking, what's his name? He makes me so mad every time I just see his face. But there's this one person on, I think it's Fox Sports maybe. He's like a analyst or commentator. What is his name? I wish I could remember. But he basically said that he wasn't being a good leader of the team because people aren't going to take him seriously now. That he said he was depressed.
That's so stupid.
It was like, are you kidding me? Like, have some humanity. I'm not saying that it's better dealt with amongst men, but people who hear about it from women make it a matter of like, oh, it's because they're more fragile. They like attack the gender side of it, like as if it's like, I don't know, makes them inferior rather than just them being more vulnerable to talk about it, opposed to men.
Well, I mean, Josh and I went over that a little bit in our podcast when we furthered the conversation on mental health, but we kind of said like it's bad on mental health is bad on both sides, but we kind of went from the side of like it's bad for men due to the fact like you have to be quote unquote man and not have feelings, and it's a little bit easier, but for women because they're allowed to have women, or they're like the emotional side of the gender.
It's expected from women to be able to show the emotion, but the way people react to it is very like belittling of them. Is like, yeah, it's expected of them because they are inferior. Like that's the mentality, and that's terrible. It should be they're able to express it because they actually understand themselves and are confident and strong enough to be able to express those feelings.
Yeah.
And it's a strength rather than a weakness. A lot of people don't actually understand that. People were actually like, I believe it was genuine, not sure if it was troll, but the way I was reading it, I thought it was genuine. Like people were like genuinely having a discourse about, should we even be sending our women into sporting events when they get this way, when they get like all like mental or whatever? Like we should protect them, you know, like fuck off basically. That's crazy. This has nothing to do with the episode, but it's just like very interesting to talk about.
I think we should have it a separate episode for Olympics because I feel like you're just.
I mean, we don't have to talk about much more other than that. We can just make this a clip if you want.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like we should have like a second episode on this because I feel like you're just seeping with Olympic knowledge and other topics that surround the.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say. Nothing like that would make great conversation. It would just be spitting facts, I guess, like just reciting knowledge. But I don't think that makes great content as much as having a conversation that goes back and forth, and you're able to build upon thoughts rather than like, oh, this happened. Whoa, no way. Yeah. I know. Also, this happened. Like that's not as entertaining.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of what we do with football, though, because like we could just.
Kind of, but like we're able to like discuss like what it means in the context of a season, whereas the Olympics is like the end of it. You know, like that's the end of a lot of journeys. So it's like, oh, this guy got this medal. That's it. Like there's no point to further conversation. Whereas like if we're in the middle of the season and it's like. Ezekiel Elliott just crossed the 1,000-yard mark before Derrick Henry. It's like, oh shit, what does that mean for the season? Did the Cowboys actually make sense in giving him that much money? Does that mean that there's a change of like, I don't know, who's like the reigning running back? Like there's things that we could build off of it in the context of the season. Like what does that mean about them crossing the middle of the season going into postseason?
What I meant from that is like there's stories throughout the NFL like talk, like you can look on the broad side of it. It's like, oh, it's just statistical things, like so what if this team won and this team lost? But I kind of was thinking of like there was many stories throughout the Olympics as well, like the Simone Biles mental health, and I don't know the tennis. I can't pronounce the tennis.
Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka's mental health as well, that kickstarted that entire thing. But I mean, I feel like it'll be interesting to just do an entire episode with you on the Olympics because I feel like you knew the drama surrounding like each event, and then you knew the.
I mean, it was controversial even before the Olympics started, and even before Simone Biles. And I'm not talking about the way that Naomi Osaka had the precedent on the mental side of things, but just the fact that this is still taking place during the pandemic. Well, basically, you're bringing a bunch of people from every part of the world into Japan. That's one thing. But it's also some of the best representations of the world into Japan. Like, what does that mean for them who could be exposed to new things now that they're in this mixing pot, you know? Yeah. Like, are we putting our best athletes in danger for doing that? Like, there were, like, all these other implications that I'm not too read up on, but I know a bit about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was more talking to because there is, like, a bunch of storylines I can make good conversation. I feel like we should have like a separate episode where we just talk about that. But I looked up Fox analyst NFL and I got like a
Skip Bayless. Huh? That's his name. Skip Bayless.
Oh, okay. That
ugly motherfucker. I hate him.
Yeah.
I blocked him on Twitter. Really? I mean, he won't know, but I just never want to see any of his takes ever again.
I
He's
agree.
also obsessed with LeBron, but negatively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one time he woke up at 2 a.m. I don't know why, but his alarm went off at 2 a.m. He took a picture of it. He's like, hey, I'm up doing my thing, being productive. Where are you, LeBron? Are you up, LeBron? Like, are you going to work? Like, what the fuck? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't know if Skip Bayless is a father or not, but, like, LeBron has a family. During the offseason, just leave him alone, you know? Like, during the season, sure, you can comment on how he's performing. Like, everyone does that. I can understand that. But it's the offseason. Just, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I agree. I also think he's very annoying. I mean, I've watched a few clips from the fucking... What's the other guy on that?
Oh, his Shannon Sharp. I don't mind him as much, but he's, like, also weird.
Yeah, I watched a few clips because they just talked about the Eagles during the, like, Eagles run on the Super Bowl and stuff, and I was like... Yeah. This is irritating. They're just continually arguing over...
It was the same show that Julio Jones said, hell no, I don't want to go to the Cowboys, basically. Like, not verbatim, but, like, he was basically, like... Oh, first of all, he said, yeah, I'm definitely out of Atlanta. And then secondly, like, Shannon was like, yo, don't go to the Cowboys. Like, they're not going to help you win. He was like, oh, yeah, I know. It's still unknown if Julio knew he was on air or not. He did not comment on it, but Shannon just basically called him up. That's and fine. Like, held him up to the microphone.
If he didn't know, that's kind of
scummy. If Julio didn't know, if Julio did know, also kind of scummy on Julio because he's, like, you know, making things worse for the Falcons. You know, like, that ruins his, like, chance. That ruins the Falcons' chances of getting enough value out of him in the trade if everyone's aware that, like, Julio definitely wants out. Yeah. But if it's not known if Julio definitely wants out, then teams would definitely send more, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, either way, it's scummy, but it's just, like, who do we put it on?
I just love, like, the fact that he said that because it's the Cowboys. Like, who the fuck wants to go to the Cowboys? But
not many people. Unless you got drafted by them. I feel like, from what I see, like, people who get drafted by the Cowboys usually really like the team. Like, it seems like Dak really enjoys staying there, and Ezekiel as well.
They're probably getting paid a shit ton. Players
they are, too. I mean, they are the two of the most highly paid of their position, at least. Like, isn't Ezekiel Elliott the highest paid of his position?
I think so.
And then Dak just became the most... like, the highest paid ever, right?
I think, though...
Or just, like, as of right now, he's the highest paid.
Either or. They're definitely still, like, in the top 5. Yeah. Most definitely for that. But... And then there's also an Eagle player that... I forget what year it was, but I think it was 2018. But he came on the show and talked shit about the Eagles. Because, like, the Eagles cut him, and he was with the Eagles for, like, half the season. And he was, like, doing shit and stuff. And he was just like... Yeah, fuck the Eagles. Like, it's a terrible climate to play in. Like, I just hated the entire environment there. Like, it's BS. They didn't want anyone to succeed there. And it was just like, fuck off.
There was no formal introduction for this, but I'll give it a shot if you allow me.
Yes.
Okay. Football is back. Preseason games have been underway. I cut Caleb off. I think he was about to ask, what is football?
Yeah.
Football is a sport invented by the British, actually, but it didn't go very far. Like, they didn't like it as much as, you know, they're very popular soccer or football to them, I guess. But it kind of took off in America once they found out about it, and they just kept adapting the rules. It definitely did not look the same as it does now, as it did then. It probably resembled more of, like, rugby. But now it's this cult of a fan base in America that follows basically just one league, the NFL. It's not really greatly represented internationally, but it's starting to. And it's, in my opinion, the sport that most resembles chess.
Why do you make that claim?
Because I think coaches are the most, or play callers, I should say, more so than coaches maybe, have the most influence on what happens on the actual playing field, as opposed to soccer. Coaches make transactional moves, taking a guy off, putting a guy in. There's no timeouts. It's like formations, I guess, is a thing in soccer, but you can't really tell people like, oh, change the play. Like,
Yeah.
but it's a very like step-by-step process in football where, you know, you have to make a move and the other team has to make a move.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to figure your opponent out. What are they going to do? Like, you have to condition your opponent more so than other sports. Whereas, like, other sports is, like, very much a expression of athleticism and, like, intelligence in the moment. But there's more conscious awareness and, I guess, thoughtfulness preceding a play.
Yeah.
In football. That's why I think it's the most chess-like sport, because chess is very like consideration based and step-by-step process.
I never heard that comparison, and thank you for explaining football to me, because I had no idea what that was. But
Yeah.
Continue with your introduction.
Football is back, a new season of football, because that's how
Yeah.
it works. Every
Yeah.
year there's a new season.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And at the end of the season,
Yeah.
there's a team that gets crowned as like the champion.
Yeah. Is that like hard or?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. They call it
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Oh wow.
Where people,
Why?
where two teams compete.
That's weird. Is it like a bowl or?
No, I mean, I guess kind of like stadiums resemble a bowl in a way.
Does
like
anyone
going
like eat
top
there?
into the bottom.
Or, like eat?
Yeah,
out of
you
the bowl?
can like. Definitely concessions have become very big within stadiums, like hot
okay.
dogs at baseball games, I guess.
I keep getting sidetracked, and I apologize. Okay, finish your introduction. Okay, finish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's back. Preseason games are underway. I think the last week is this week. Training camps for a lot of teams end today. I think the Colts' last was today, which also means that lots of roster cuts are starting to happen, like at the depth of positions, positional competition, like kickers or like wide receivers. You know, the depth will have to be cut into. Like, sorry man, you did great, but this guy beat you out. You're not gonna make it on the 53-man roster. What else? I guess also we get to hear like who's starting as well. We just found out that Teddy Bridgewater is starting for the Broncos, and that Trevor Lawrence is confirmed starting for the Jaguars. Not that anyone really thought it would go the other way, but Gardner Minshew was making his case like, yeah, I would never be the backup. So yeah, that's that. We still have to hear like the whole clarification in the 49ers, like who's starting there. And the Bears, it seems like Andy Dalton will start for the beginning of the season, but who knows if Justin Fields has progressed far enough to take that role from him. There's a lot on the line right now.
I agree, and I think we're going to do a separate episode next week on the preseason, because this is the last week, because the NFL did shorten the preseason from 4 games to 3 games, and we are experiencing that for the first time this year. So that's kind of an interesting concept. I mean, I feel like it's not that much of a difference. It's just one.
Not much of a difference, but it avoids injuries at least for one more week.
Yeah. And then the starters get a couple week break, because I think it's, I guess, only a week break, because it starts, I think, the 11th of September, like that week, because I always remember like a Sunday landing on like 9/11 or whatever. Or like being around that like anniversary. So I think it's the week of the 11th. Maybe it's like a week shorter or whatever, but it's
we will have to do an episode on predictions.
Yes.
We have to start that up again, but that is not this episode. This episode we're just talking about just like general information about like what's going on in the league, and also our own fantasy football league, which drafted within the past week. We had a new draft. We didn't do keepers this year because we added 2 teams, and that would just make things complicated. So we just had a full reset, and I think it went well. More participation for the draft this year. I think we had 4 people over Zoom last time.
Yes.
Out of the 6, and this time we had 6 people in attendance, at least partially, out of the 8. So yeah.
Yes, and then I'm going to cut right after I finish this, but I'm going to say cut after I finish a sentence that I want to say. That was way too long of a description for what I want to say, but I want to stop now. But we did a little vlog squat, like vlog style vlog video, and we filmed kind of the draft. I mean, it was kind of a blur, so I don't know how much I actually filmed because it was kind of hard. Like, I was focusing on getting my players.
Yeah,
ready.
it was a blur.
Yeah. But like, I was.
We were all
on,
just very focused.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so there was not much that content. A couple of screams. I missed a couple of screams, but I was focusing on
a couple screams.
Yeah, just
that's the real content everyone wants to see.
Yes,
just some screaming.
Yes, but I missed some. But you know, I was just like I said, I was focusing on the players that I wanted to draft next. I didn't want to miss my chance on drafting a key player. So I'm gonna cut right. No. Hey, what are we doing?
We're doing a football thing.
What's that?
It's honestly better.
So I heard you were a bitch and bailed on Titus at the last minute.
Okay,
Oh my God.
shut down this false
I was just making sure.
narrative.
This feels like
That's not a false narrative. That is exactly how it went down.
Okay, but I feel like my side is not being understood.
Yeah, like you have a reason, but at the end of the day, that's the action.
You just didn't tell him why.
You can't.
but crazy eyes.
No, I wanted to stay in hard way.
Wait, why?
It's fine. I don't
You
care.
said ew, gross, so I
I don't
proceeded
care.
to
I don't
change
care.
it.
No, you're fine.
I'm only gonna pick players based on
I wanted to
if
go
their name
against
is funny
Lucia.
or if they're hot.
Amen.
Amen.
Josh,
sister.
do you know what you're doing?
Now you are in Licia's division.
I know you put us up against each other, and neither of us know what the fuck we're doing.
What do you mean?
It's your fault.
It was randomized.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garoppolo?
You see,
Garoppolo.
Caleb, you
Jimmy
see,
G.
this is why we can't have people who are
Yeah.
anti-vax because they fuck up the whole draft, delay the whole draft,
Excuse me?
and
You're talking about me?
And he's not even gonna stay either.
he's not even gonna
He
stay.
has to go flip burgers.
Shut up.
Typical anti-vaxxer.
Josh, I'm trying to speak to you.
Shit. What do you want?
5 words or less.
Less.
Deal or no deal? 5 words or less?
Wait, what's that?
Yeah.
Fuck bitches get.
And if you could turn to the camera, that would be more.
Fuck bitches get money.
Kumbaya. Hey, mullet man. Buy me tickets.
Hey. Diabetic Nation, let's go!
Oh fuck.
Half lesbian, lesbian.
Do I go Henry or
Isn't that a funny name? I'm gonna get it tattooed on my.
I don't know what to choose.
This fucking.
I don't know if I do McCaffrey or Henry. Alright.
Those are the two options.
Which one's hotter?
What about George Kittle?
Which side was which? None of us know. We don't know.
Oh!
Out of
Andre
10.
Hopkins.
Oh, Hopkins.
I had Hopkins last year,
I
and he was a
don't know
beast.
any of these people. I just know Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
I don't even think he plays anymore.
He still plays.
Oh, Lisa, Lisa, you're on the clock. Oh, wait, do I do a running back? I don't know who to do.
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris? I feel like you're.
Yes.
Josh,
He's a rookie.
out of 10, 10 being the least knowledgeable, 1 being the most knowledgeable.
What do you
How
think?
not?
You already know the answer to this question.
Who is Justin Pugh? Hello.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Wait, I want to
literally
pick Chubb
just
because his
looked
last
up
name is that,
the
but I already
hottest
have a running
NFL
back.
players on the field this season.
He's due for a breakout season.
Herbert?
I mean, he had a
I don't trust a man named Herbert.
Say last broke all the rookie records.
Oh, what the fuck?
Why are you saying what the fuck?
You're up. You're up, Caleb.
I'm up?
Yeah.
This weekend I'm filming.
Okay, if you actually do that, let me know.
Yeah, totally.
Bro, I have like no picks for the next like 10 people. I'm screwed. What's my
Okay, I think I have a wide receiver. Oh, what's a TE?
What? I don't have a running back? Okay, I already do.
Tight end.
Tight end?
He's also like a receiver, but he doesn't get as
That's
many.
what she said.
Hold on, let me make my last pick.
Alright.
Wait, Alicia,
Do you
don't
want a
pick it,
tight
don't pick
end?
it. Wait, Alicia, don't pick it, don't pick it.
I do want a tight end.
Because, like, he's coming.
Oh, I love a man in uniform.
Shut up.
I just got a wave of grease and oil and burgers.
Fries.
Damn, mommy, you flip with those hands.
Here are you picking, here are you picking, huh? Huh?
I picked Chris Herndon.
I don't know, Court, I'm asking. I'm gonna take Buccaneers defense.
Williams, yep.
That's right, I did it.
Hey.
Well, who do I
Yeah, I took piano lessons.
Hey, Sophia. How much knowledge do you have on football?
I wore my hockey shirt.
today. I miss hockey season.
I do too.
I gotta have one triple hour.
Anyone? Fantasy hockey? Anyone?
I'm down. All I need is Kucherov and I'm good.
Yeah.
All I need is Kevin Hart. Wait, no.
That's not the
I meant.
Okay, for my last pick, should I go wide receiver or tight end? Wait, I only get one more.
Yeah.
What should I pick? What should I pick?
Oh, I got it.
What are you doing? Hey, what are you?
My first rodeo.
It's not your first rodeo,
No. Oh shit.
dude. I'm not even getting that, bro. Dude, I'm filming your face, bro. Guys, we're done. We're done with.
Guess what's in this cooler, Artie?
Ayo!
Wow.
That was
I don't even
amazing.
remember that part. Remember when
Oh my
that
God,
one time I was
yeah.
sitting here
Yeah, and I think I was
and-
sitting over there.
and I drafted someone and everyone was like,
Wow.
I didn't even remember that happened until
Oh my
we
God.
showed everyone that clip. So
Wow. That was
interesting
crazy.
stuff.
Wow. So let's jump into it.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Okay, I was thinking that because I did a separate episode. It was like a week before we started this little shindig of League of the Wings, but
Lick it away.
I basically made a 24-minute video. I remember it. I don't know why I remember it was that exact length, but I just basically ran over everyone's players and like kind of predicted how they would do overall. So I was just thinking we list everyone's player and who they got.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's a lot, but sure.
yo, I mean, we don't have to go in depth. I just want to like list the
I
players.
feel like at least like the first 8 rounds, because that's about like all the starters at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could just like go down and just be like, here are their starters, here are their bench, and then move on to the next. Like very like, and then we can.
Very.
Yeah, and then we can just like quickly move on. Or if we want to say anything after we list who they got, then we can do that. So I guess I'll do it, and then
I could pull it up. But...
yeah, I was just seeing if you would want to do yours.
Oh yeah, I can talk
Yeah.
about my team for a second.
Or I mean, like list your team, and then I'll list my team, and then I'll go and list the others. But the 2 other additions to this League of the Wings is Josh and Claudia, and they're
Yes.
least knowledgeable people in the entire world about football.
Yeah, Gladia only watches basketball. Josh doesn't watch sports. He's actually gotten a little bit into basketball this past playoffs, but definitely not football. He was having a hard time understanding the layout of the website even, and that's not even necessarily football. I think he's just dumb. No, I'm joking.
But all jokes aside, I agree.
Yeah, let's look at my team. So I drafted.
Don't even go into any description. Just list the players, and I'll list mine, and I'll list everyone else's, and then we can.
I mean, I was just going to mention that I drafted 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go more into that. I'm sorry.
I drafted 5th.
I was jumping the gun.
And got Jonathan Taylor, Colts, my team. DeAndre Hopkins, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Najee Harris. I believe those were among my first additions. George Kittle, too. He was definitely up there. And then those were people I definitely knew I wanted. Everyone else was kind of like made it up on the spot. Colts defense I definitely wanted. Bears defense. Corey Davis, Will Fuller the 5th. Jamar Chase. Robert Woods are the other wide receivers. Raheem Mostert, Mike Davis are the other running backs. Robert Tonyan is my backup tight end. And then Myers for Seattle as a kicker, and Tyler Bass, kicker for Buffalo. I think I listed everyone, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to reset the camera now.
Oh my god.
I saw it turn off like right when you were ending it, so I was just like, I might as well just let you finish talking.
Yeah.
I drafted last again, so I got the snake order, so I got back-to-back. I got the last pick in the first round, but the first pick in the second round. But my players are Josh Allen, Miles Sanders, James Robinson, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, Travis Kelce, Myles Gaskin, Dolphins defense, Younghoe Koo, Trevor Lawrence, Steelers defense, Jarvis Landry, Logan Thomas, don't know how to pronounce the
Try.
La Visca.
Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel.
LaVisca, I think.
LaVisca
I actually haven't even looked at his
Jr.
name before. Yeah, LaVisca, probably. LaVisca.
Yeah. And then Zach Moss, David Johnson, Deepu Samuel, and then
Debo.
Shut up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We've talked about my mispronunciations of names, but then I got Michael Thomas
you can't
again.
even pronounce mispronunciation.
Yeah, see, I'm just terrible. And then I got Michael Thomas on IR. And then
Oh, you did get him?
Yeah.
Okay. That was an acquisition, not a draft. Michael Thomas didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes to show how like bad overall our league is, but I wasn't going to draft him because I don't really like drafting Saints players. I considered it, but I was like, there's other guys. Why everyone else didn't get him, I don't know. I think he'll be worthy of at least being a bench player. Like, I don't think he's where he was at a couple of years ago where he got Offensive Player of the Year, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, like
Michael Thomas.
I didn't understand that either. But jumping to Sophia, she got Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, T.J. Hawkinson, David Montgomery, 49ers defense, Harrison Butker, Washington defense, Chase Edmonds, Aaron Rodgers, Kenny Galladay, Geno Smith, Robbie Anderson, Jason Sanders, and Michael Gallup.
May I just say that I think she had one of the better drafts of all of us, maybe even better than me. Probably even better than me. At least ESPN projects her to finish first based off of the draft. So, yeah.
And then Claudia's.
She auto-picked.
Yeah.
Claudia did. She was not able to be in attendance.
Claudia's lineup, and her name is Bell Tower Edgelord for her name.
Not even Edgelords. It's just the one.
Yes, just one. But she got Ryan Tannehill, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Allen Robinson II, C.D. Lamb, Darren Waller, Antonio Gibson, Vikings defense, Matt Gay, DeAndre Swift, Adam Thielen, Tyler Lockett, T. Higgins, Travis Etienne Jr., Dallas Goedert, Joe Burrow, and Austin Hooper.
Yeah, we have to tell her about Etienne because he is out for the season now.
Oh,
and
wait,
she
he's
does
out.
not know that.
He's out for this. I thought it was only 12 weeks. Is he?
Oh, is it only 12 weeks? I saw from Schefter that his season had ended.
Oh.
Like, he made it very conclusive before it really even started. Because it's the preseason. But
yeah, I mean, that's probably the case. They probably switched it for the
yeah, we'll
latest.
have to tell her.
Yeah.
I bet she hasn't even looked at her roster at all. So, like, she doesn't even know who she has. Not that she would know who they are anyways, but
yeah. So, Trace Gates, or the Diabetic Nation, his little lineup is Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, Chris Godwin, Ravens defense, Braden McManus, Justin Herbert, Jalen Waddle, Broncos defense, Cole Beasley, Leonard Fournette, Rob Gronkowski, Kenny Drake, A.J. Dillard. But holy crap, okay, Trey's lineup is actually low-key kind of good.
Really? I didn't think it was.
Really?
Let's go over it. Let me look, and then we'll debate it.
Well, I guess...
I think he has a problem with drafting. I think he does fine in the middle of the season where he picks up players that start to, pick up. But I think he is very subjective about who he picks. He just has a affinity for certain players and doesn't really weigh them by how great they are. Typically the Denver players. Yeah. He took Jerry Jeudy way too early, in my opinion. He also took defenses and kickers way too early, where he could have been building up a better roster of other players. In my opinion, that's just how. I guess it's just difference in how you draft. Everyone has their own draft style, but at the top, it is good. Patrick Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey easily could be quarterback 1, running back 1 in the entire league.
Yes,
I definitely agree with that. Kyle Pitts has a high ceiling. 100%. Wide receivers, though, I think is a weakness. I love Keenan Allen, love the way he did for me last year, but I really don't know if I would call him wide receiver 1 on any team. And Jerry Jeudy certainly isn't a wide receiver 1 in my mind. I feel like not that he isn't good, but his team, the Broncos, is just like very balanced as far as the wide receiver core. There's no clear like, oh, this is the best wide receiver, you know, because of Cortland Sutton. At least it's hard to like say who's the better one and who's going to get the most reps because of that, and or targets. And same with Godwin versus Evans. Like he doesn't have a clear wide receiver that is like going to get the most receptions or like long balls, because Keenan Allen doesn't go for long balls. He's like a slot receiver. I mean, Waddle, he's a rookie, so he's not going to start off great. Cole Beasley, definitely not when there's fucking, who's the other guy on the Bills? Diggs, yes, of course. So yeah, I think wide receivers is a huge weakness there. And back of running backs, like, okay, other than Christian McCaffrey, like, would you want any of the others on your team? Be honest.
That is true. I
Jamal Williams, Leonard Fournette, Kenyon Drake, Aaron Dillon. Aaron Dillon's a backup to Aaron Jones, who just got a massive contract and wants more running time on the Packers. Like, he literally told him, like, I'm only re-signing if I get more time.
Yeah, I guess it's not as strong, but I mean, I guess Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes are very strong
good tandem,
quarterbacks.
but you can't play two quarterbacks. That's the issue. That's my thing. Is like, I mean, I definitely went for back-to-back quarterbacks just to see, like, oh man, like maybe one will do better than the other. Like, I definitely wanted a strong core there. Like, you know, it's a good problem to have, like, too many options. But at the same time, you should definitely, I think overall, you should definitely focus on positions where you need to start multiple players. Yeah. Like running backs and wide receivers. Because, like, just having one really good one won't be enough to carry you through the season.
That is true. But, I mean, I guess I was just focusing on Allen and Godwin and Pitts as, like, the receiving core that is pretty solid.
Godwin's solid. Allen is great. I'm never going to undermine him. Like, that was a good pickup. I think that was smart. Pitts, still a rookie. Even if he has the high ceiling and all, I don't know if Falcons will give him the time to show up and be like a tight end one like everyone says he will. Yeah. Like, he might be able to show it through the season, so it's more so of an investment. But we may not be able to see that till midway through the season.
Yeah, that is very true. But I mean, I guess, like, I was looking over the overall, like, because that's, like, solid, because, like, I feel like they can, if Pitts actually does start consistently, but we don't know that from what you just said, or just in general, then I feel like they can get you, I don't know, at least 10 to 15 points, at least, maybe, possibly. But I mean, I don't know, like a good.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, we felt the same way last year. Like, he had a really great top of, like, his lineup. I mean, he had 3 quarterbacks who were all fucking amazing. Wasn't it? Was it not Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson at one point? Yeah. Before I traded with him? Yeah. Insane, first of all, that those 3 were his 3 quarterbacks. He should never have gotten 3 quarterbacks anyways, but still, like, they all were great for fantasy. And so, like, just looking at that, I was like, whoa. Like, damn, he's kind of stacked. But you can only play one quarterback. Yeah. And then also you had DeAndre Hopkins, right? Wasn't he the one with DeAndre Hopkins? Or was it Devontae Adams? Yeah.
No, he had Hopkins, and Licia had Adams.
Yeah, that's right. Just looking at those, it was like, whoa. And Derrick Henry, who ended up being league leader in rushing. So, like, at the top, great. But he didn't make top 3.
Yeah, that is very true. Very, very, very true.
So, for you got 3rd.
So, now I'm at Brendan Compton Crip Drip.
Who is coming off of what started to be a really solid season. Everyone was worried about Brendan, and then it kind of fell apart towards the end.
I got so lucky with that because I beat him, but it was on the luckiest thing because remember that it was Eric Ebron got hurt, and I won by like 1 point, and if he just needed like a singular,
we're all joking about it, like, oh, Eric Ebron is like going to be out last second, and then he did. It was crazy. So yeah, Brendan drafted in person last year. Well, I guess over Zoom, but like he was there to do it. He actually was not aware of the time we were drafting, and so he got auto-picked. But auto-pick worked out for him. I think Henry and Eckler is a great tandem at running back. Calvin Ridley, I think, has a very high upside now that Julio Jones is gone and could get more receptions. People would argue that Julio Jones being on the other side allowed for Calvin Ridley to do better because all of the best defensive backs were focused on Julio Jones. Yeah. We'll see. I guess is where I'm trying to head with that. Justin Jefferson came off of like an insane rookie season. Let's see if he can keep it up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Jalen Hurts I feel like has a high upside. We don't really know for sure, though. He didn't get a lot of playing time. Same with Tua, who's his other quarterback. We didn't get to see him much of either of those guys. So, but definitely high upside. Like, anyone who's counting Tua out, ooh, I fear for you. Mike Evans, I think he'll do good. Ayuk, I'm big on Ayuk personally. Not a lot of people really know him too well, but they will.
Yes.
Running backs could be better overall towards the bottom. Joe Mixon, Chris Carson, Tight ends, he has how many? 3? Noah Fant, Gesicki, and Ingram. People think that Ingram has a high upside, but we'll see. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good team that was assembled through AutoPick.
Yeah, I mean, you said most of it, but I just want to go down the line really quick. So like, his entire thing is Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson, Noah Fant, Joe Mixon, Rams defense, Greg Zuerlein, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mike Evans, Chris Carson, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Gesicki, Evan Engram, and Tua.
Tagovailoa.
But yeah, that's his roster, and it's a pretty solid one again. And then, so I'm going to go. I didn't go over Alicia's, right? We went over yours.
You haven't gone over the Johnson division. You went over the Hardwick division.
Okay, so I'm going to go over Alicia's. Half lesbian thespians. Hers is Dak Prescott, Saquon Barkley, Darrell Henderson Jr., Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, Mark Andrews, Odell Beckham Jr., Buccaneers defense, Justin Tucker.
Okay, let me just say before you continue, this is the most comeback player of the year type team. Dak Prescott, Saquon Barkley, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's insane.
All 4 of them realistically could have a shot because Julio Jones was Julio Jones maybe not so much as the rest of them who were definitely out, but he was in and out and just wasn't performing up to his usual standard. Yeah. But now that he's in Tennessee, he could see his stats flourish again. So yeah, we'll see.
And then the rest of her players is Tom Brady, Kirtland Sutton, Bills defense, Graham Gano, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Conner, Melvin Gordon III, and Devin Singletary.
I love that she got Dak Prescott again because she had him last year. He got injured, and she kept him on IR for a long time until I was like, Licia, he's not coming back. And then she removed him, and then she drafted him again. Yeah. So high hopes for Dak Prescott. Did she have Saquon Barkley last year?
Yeah,
you did. Oh my God.
She also had Julio Jones as well. I don't know. I didn't know if you said that.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And then Team Anti-Vax is another new member, which is Joshua Freeh. His players this is so funny because this is my most sentimental players last year that he has. But he has Russell Wilson, Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Chris Herndon, Amari Cooper, Patriots defense, Josh Lambo, J.K. Dobbins, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, Kareem Hunt, Damian Harris, Irvin Smith Jr., Tyler Higbee, Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that's it's quite a squad. I think it's a bit underwhelming. DK Metcalf and AJ Brown is a good starting wide receiver duo. Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs are we'll have to see because they could be really, really good. Mm-hmm. We know this about both of them. They have insane high upside. Mm-hmm. But within the past year, they've been kind of underwhelming. Russell Wilson also is hit or miss sometimes. He starts the season great and then just falls apart later on. Tight ends could definitely be better. He has 3 of them. None of them I would consider starters on my own team. I think DJ Moore is a good one. I think he's underrated.
Yeah. AJ Brown is really good.
Dobbins too, I think, might be underrated. Yeah. Cooper Kupp, now that Matthew Stafford's there, who knows?
This is such an up in the air lineup. I feel.
Matt Ryan too. Who's he gonna be now that things are changing around him? He's got to start throwing to the tight end more. Maybe he only has one target who can really dependably get a long ball.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how many players that I had last year that he has. I had Russell Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Metcalf, Cooper, and then I had the Patriots defense, and then I had Kareem Hunt at one point. And then I also had Matt Ryan, but those are like the players that like I fell in love with, and I'm just like I'm never gonna give these like players up. But now they're
Dude,
like,
he literally said yes. He's like, I'm never trading. I'm loyal. I'm like, dude, if you don't add new players, like you will lose this league. And he's like, wait, I have to be involved.
That's Josh saying that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, not you. You're very much involved. I don't know who had the most transactions last year. I should have looked, but
it was obviously like between me and you. Well, Trey was very involved as well.
Yeah, he may have traded a lot of transactions,
but I think being in this podcast definitely has me more involved. I mean, I would have been involved
regardless. I did a fantasy basketball after the football season ended. Boy, oh boy, I love that. I won. Yeah, I did win. It was my first time ever doing fantasy basketball. I did not consider myself an expert of basketball at all. It got me more into it, definitely. I might join a random league with Sophia now for hockey. Really? Yeah, just because I want to get more into hockey. And that's a great way of doing it. Hey, anyone who ever wants to get more into sports and don't know how, fantasy is easily like one of the best ways to do it. Yeah. Easily.
I agree. Because it's like you're involved and then you have to be involved. And depending if there's money in the league, that makes you also want to be more involved as well.
And you get to know players specifically that way, which is hard to do if you're just watching and don't know who to look out for. If you have players set and you know they're going to be in a game, you start looking at them more and it's like, oh shit, I like their play style. And then you know. So
most definitely. So yeah, that's everyone's roster. That's who everyone drafted. So exciting, and I'm very excited to start this. But do you want to dive a little bit deeper into ours?
Our own rosters?
Yes.
I got Jonathan Taylor 5th. In most leagues, he's getting drafted around 10th. So that was a big swing from me. Mainly that decision came from the fact that Christian McCaffrey was gone, and I definitely would have gone back with him. I would have gone Dalvin Cook too, but he went number 1. Basically, the running backs I would have definitely taken were like within the top 4. And once we got to me, it was like, well, there's only one player that I'm absolutely in love with, and it's kind of biased because he's a Colt. But he also finished in 3rd rushing yards last season, in a season where he started off actually terribly, but he did so well by the end of the season that he made his way to being 3rd in the league in rushing yards. He started off terribly. Nyheim Hines was getting more touches than him in some games, and Marlon Mack had more than him in the first game because he was the starter before he got injured that game. So, yeah. It was a crazy comeback to being able to be top 3 in the league in rushing yards when he started off that way. And one of the only players on our team to actually fumble, actually. We're a team that prides ourselves in not fumbling, and then he did, and then he got benched a little bit for a couple of games. Not like crazy benched, like wasn't seeing the field at all, but just not as much.
If you don't believe him, here are the last 5 games fantasy points that he had in our league. He had 21 points, 30 points, 17 points, 19 points, and 37 points. So that just goes to show you that he did have a very amped up thing. And I feel like Jonathan Taylor in your position was a very smart move too, because he is the diverse back. Like, he catches the ball a lot, and then he also runs.
Oh yeah, we have great receiving backs.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say, like, before you continue on your the rest of your roster, and then I'll shut up and you can like actually talk, but I just thought it was funny because I saw this one TikTok where this person was in last place just like I was. This happened in both of his leagues, but in the TikTok that I saw, everyone picked running backs for the first like few things,
basically,
and then
like the first round.
And then when it got to his being in last place, he got Kelsey, and then Snake Roll he got drafted again, and then he drafted Devontae Adams right afterwards, and then that's exactly like verbatim for what I did.
Yeah, that is funny. It's very smart. Like, some people, I mean, it depends on the league you are. We're a half point per reception league. If you're a point per reception league, like, that's definitely something to look out for. Especially half point per reception league is still something that you have to consider. Like, oh, that makes receiving even more considerable, you know. If you're not a point per reception league, like no points per reception, then like running backs dominate, and that's why point per reception was introduced in the first place, because wide receivers and tight ends should have been more like, they should have had more points.
Weight to them.
Yeah, weight, exactly.
I'm going to be right back, but continue because I had to get my chart. Oh wait, no, never mind.
Yeah, I have a charger there that you can use.
Okay, never mind then.
I really love Matthew Stafford because he played for Detroit, but he never was on a winning team for him to be worth drafting, so I got him. I had Kelly Murray for the later portion of my season last year, and he helped me win, so I got him again. And now he has an even crazier wide receiver core now that they have AJ Green too, so it's just like, holy shit. And I think an updated offensive line. I don't know if it's better or worse, but we'll see. I got George Kittle again because I had him last season. Same with Christian McCaffrey. Every time they did have a game, they did amazing, but they just didn't see the field a lot because of injuries. So hopefully Kittle comes back strong. I'm not in love with like Raheem Mostert and Robert Woods. They're just like offensive role players. I can see doing well just because their team is good. We'll see. They're exposable in my mind. Mike Davis I'm big on because once Christian McCaffrey, who was on my team, got injured, I picked him up and he did great for the games, for the first games where he replaced Christian McCaffrey. And now that he's on Atlanta and could potentially see like a lot more touches and more favor, I think like he could pop off. DeAndre Hopkins I'm in love with. He played for the Texans, so when I originally did fantasy, not in this league, but I can never draft him because that's my rule. I don't draft from Titans, Texans, Jaguars, and then also Patriots because they're a rival. And most of the time Saints because they beat us in the Super Bowl. Nowadays with the Cardinals, like, hey, I'm going to go for DeAndre Hopkins 100%. I love him as a player. Same way I love Derrick Henry as a player. It's just like I can't really say that too much because he's a Titan. Najee Harris, that's a huge story. He's getting taken in the first round. A lot of rookies never really get taken in the first round, but Najee Harris, people are considering it because there's no one really else on the Steelers who's going to get touches besides him, and Ben Roethlisberger is not able to just keep passing the way he has the past couple of years. Like, literally led the league in passing yards and attempts some seasons, not efficiently whatsoever, but it's just because they did not have a running game, basically. Now they took a running back first round from Alabama who is a star, basically. Like, people love him. He's a fan favorite. I think Pittsburgh is really going to enjoy him. And not that I'm a big fan of the Steelers, but I'm a big fan of Najee Harris because I'm also an Alabama fan, so there's that. I have high hopes in Will Fuller nowadays with Miami instead of Texans. Also, same situation with DeAndre Hopkins, I guess. Now I can touch him. He's not untouchable anymore. But he does have the suspension for the first game. That definitely kind of ruined his, like, value in a lot of people's eyes. But, like, it's one game, whatever. Corey Davis, I could see doing really great with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has impressed a lot of people. And I have Colts and Bears defenses. So, yeah, that's basically all I really want to talk about. This is Jamar Chase. No, I have a lot to say about him. Robert Tonyan. He plays for Aaron Rodgers. He'll do good. Like, that's all I really have to say.
I guess I'll talk about my roster, kind of the highlights, and your roster is pretty solid, not going to lie.
Thank you, man.
But mine, so Josh Allen, I was really stoked about because he fell so low in our
That's true.
like thing that I was surprised at. I think it was like the third round or something that I took him in. So he dropped like super low. I'm like, how the heck am I going to pick up Josh Allen at this time? And he did really good. He's number 1 in quarterbacks for fantasy football. Bless you.
He's number 1?
Yes.
Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to become number 1 again.
Yeah.
I feel like he just had a bad season last year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, and then I was trying to draft like some of my players that I had last week or last year because like just for sentimental purposes, but I didn't end up getting a lot. The only one that I had so much sentimental value towards was Miles Sanders, and I was able to get him. And I also have James Robinson, which, good news. Well, I'm going to tread lightly because I don't want to sound like a dick because getting hurt in any way and having, like, being out for the rookie Jaguars running back is, like, awful. Like, I don't wish that. I think it's my worst enemy. Like, getting injured in any respect, especially long injuries like this for the entire season, is very awful and terrible. But it helps out my roster because I drafted James Robinson, and he's going to fill that number 1 role.
A lot of people were going to Twitter about this because a lot of people do just draft based off of like last year's stats and aren't really aware. And so like a lot of people were taking James Robinson early, and a lot of like fantasy nerds were like, "Oh, you didn't know that they actually drafted a running back first round, so that's not going to work out for you." And now it will. So it's like fuck the fantasy snobs, basically.
Yes, fuck them. But I mean, Robinson fell very low again, and I was like, you know what? I knew of the first round running back they picked up, and made me cautious, but there was not that many running backs available that I was excited about. And my running back depth is not that good because I have James Robinson, Sanders, Gaskin, Zach Moss, and David Johnson. But it's not like a McCaffrey type where they're going to score 30 points or like even like 20 to 25 points consistently. But they're going to have their ups where they score a shit ton of points, but it's like they're going to have their lows and lows where a McCaffrey, his low is probably going to be like 17, where Miles Sanders' low is probably going to be like 7. So it's like, it's those type of running backs where it's just like week to week basis. But my running or my receiving core, I think, is strong because I have Kelsey, Smith, and Adams. Adams is a very good wide receiver. He's going to be number one. He's the number one position rank amongst all wide receivers, and Kelsey is number one ranked amongst all tight ends. So I'm very happy to have them both on the team. I feel like they're going to make up for the lack of running ability that I have on my team. Smith, even though he's a rookie and not proven yet, I still think he's going to get most of the snaps, just because he's the best receiver on our team, even though he's just a rookie. And that just goes to show how poorly our receiving core is as a team for the Eagles. But on top of that, his preseason game that he had against the Patriots, he had very good route running ability, which was the only highlight of that game. And we'll get that to more analysis next week on the games. But but he had a very good preseason game, which made me excited. And he is what he's supposed to be.
No way. Finish up.
Yeah.
Don't you have a class?
Yeah, at 5:30.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to leave at 5:15. Yeah, we're going to finish up, and I just want to say a couple more things before I finish up my roster. So I got Trevor Lawrence, which I'm very excited about because he's starting number one already, and very high hopes. And he also fell very low in our draft as well.
You know, he might lead the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm very worried about that.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I hope he beats Peyton Manning's record.
I do too, but I honestly don't. I don't know why I said that. I have no idea why I said. But
I mean, he could have a Jameis Winston type season.
I would hate
where he throws a lot of interceptions but makes up for it with a lot of touchdowns, and it would even out to being a better than average season compared to most quarterbacks.
Yeah. But hopefully he doesn't throw that many interceptions. But I mean, I still have Josh Allen, which is very strong, but Lawrence was shot up in the air. Logan Thomas I fell in love with last season. He's a Washington tight end, and he had a couple good games with me. And then Travis Kelce, like I was saying earlier, he won me a few games last year, so that was very exciting to draft him again. I'm stoked on my defenses, and I guess to kind of finish talking about my drafts. So I was doing a little work last night. I did one serious trade proposition with Titus, and one like joking one. The joking one was I would trade Matt Crosby, I think it was famous.
No, it was
Oh, it was Koo, the famous Koo player for Harris. He obviously said no, but my realistic one that I wanted was I would give him Koo. No, wait. That would give him Kaskin and Landry, but I forgot that he would. I
declined.
Yeah. But I forgot that he would also have to delete someone from his roster. And I was like, fuck, that wouldn't work. Because, like...
Delete.
Yeah, because Gaskin and Landry aren't good enough to trade Harris standalone. That's why I said 2 players for one.
I have high hopes for Najee and a little bias for him, so it's hard to take Gaskin, who I don't even know, like, what his role is with the Dolphins at all. And then Landry, who's, like... He's up in the air because like he had a great end of the season once Odell was out, but Odell's back, so who knows?
And just to wrap things up, I ended up dropping Matt Crosby and another.
No,
Yeah.
the famous Matt Crosby.
Yeah, the famous Matt Crosby. And then I picked up David Johnson and Samuel, but I may drop Samuel and pick up Crosby again because I love Crosby because he's like, it's a beep. Like I can't not have him on my roster. He's literally the best in the world. I don't know why, but he is.
Why'd you drop him? You know we don't have unlimited transactions anymore, right?
We don't?
Yeah.
Could have told me that.
I thought I did.
No.
I thought I did like draft day. I was like, hey, we're not going to do unlimited anymore. It's like, I think it's like 40.
40?
So yeah, basically two every week.
If I knew that, I wouldn't have made that dumb thing. I thought we had unlimited transactions.
We'll just keep in mind for the future. I mean, like 2 a week is still a lot. Like you shouldn't be doing that many transactions.
That is a lot. But I mean,
that doesn't count trades, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's good. I just wouldn't have done what I did last night.
I should say acquisitions. 40 acquisitions.
Yeah. But then I picked up Thomas too because he's out, and yeah. I just hope he comes back. But that's all I gotta say. Do you want to say anything else before we wrap?
Colts will go 11 wins out of 17, so 11-6. That's my prediction.
Bye. And thanks for watching.
Bye.